Hi everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video. I'm in the old studio doing this intro for you, and this behind me is part of my photography area. I have been slowly converting the studio over so I could have some storage area, the place to make the shampoo and shower fizzes, and then this front bit, which used to be where I had all my stock on display, is going to become permanently set up for photography. So I'll have different themed areas. So I can basically bring stock home, pop them into a themed area, take some photos, and then upload them to the website and all the social channels as well. And this is what I've started to do. Now, I did start doing it before I broke my toe, but because there is so much heavy lifting and moving of furniture around, I didn't want to aggravate my toe anymore, so I have left it be. But once it's all done, I'll give you a tour around of what I actually do in this area, because so many people have been asking what I was going to do with this area. But I am trying to get these intros done before this massive storm rolls in, so let's get on with this one. Today I'm going to be making the Scorpio Constellation, and I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. I decided to again use some different colours for my soap on this one. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. However, I did forget to put one of the stars into the mould. I must have filled it up past the line where I needed to put the star and just forgot to put it in there. So I do apologise to all the Scorpios out there for forgetting to put it in. However, when you do go looking for all the different constellation patterns out there, depending upon who's actually created them, not all of the constellations out there show all of the stars, and some of them only show the bright stars in the constellations, and some of them show all of the stars in the constellations. So I've left this soap as is, missing that one star, but you can still actually see very clearly that this is the Scorpio constellation. Now, as always, I have set this video to music, and my soap batter does get thick. I really do need to have a thicker soap batter to make these soaps, otherwise I end up with my stars moving, which you'll see in some upcoming videos of the next few constellations. So let's go and check out how I do the Scorpio Constellation Soap. Let's go. Okay, so let's jump into doing Scorpio. Before we start mixing, I'll tell you a little bit about the colours and everything else, because once I start making these, I really have to concentrate. Now, Scorpio, the colour that's associated with them is black, and I didn't want another just all black soap. So because they are a water sign, I've decided to do my main base in the Klein Blue from Nurture Soap, and then I'm going to do some swirls of black. So I've got some black oxide in here, and I've got a Nimbus mica silver in here. It's quite a dark silver, so hopefully the two play well with each other. Now, the sort of aromatherapy notes for Scorpio are very floral. It's gardenia, tuberose and geranium, and I didn't really have any fragrance oils with those notes, and I'm really trying to use all the fragrance oils I've currently got. So I went through and had a bit of a smell of them all, and I found this one by Ilux, and it is Oriental Lily and Velvet Moss, and it's got notes of bergamot, jasmine, lily, saffron, musk, cedar, amber and patchouli, and it's quite a nice floral fragrance. Even though it's got amber and patchouli in it, it's not that real earthy tone, but it's got a nice clean floral, and it's quite a clear fragrance oil. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it does behave as I need it to for making these soaps. So if this does thicken on me, it's not a bad thing. I really do need it that little bit thicker to get my stars to stay in place, especially seeing as there are so many in Scorpio. I thought there were a lot in Virgo, but we're getting worse, and wait until you see Sagittarius. That's got even more. So I'm going to start getting all this together, and you can sit back and watch me build my constellation. Alright, so we've got our moons on. I'm going to put a couple of little stars on this one as well. Not too many this time because I did put some of that biodegradable glitter on here. The fragrance oil behaved quite well. It did thicken up towards like the middle of the pour, and that is because it takes me so long to actually work with it. But if anyone does have that fragrance oil, even though it is a floral, there probably is enough time to get some pretty swirls in a soap if you were to work quite, not quickly, but if you weren't messing around putting stars inside your soap, you could probably get a really pretty pattern inside your soap here. So really impressed with this. Smells really good as well, so happy with that. I do have one little concern. I've got a star embed left over here, so there could be a couple of things. I could have maybe miscounted the number of stars I needed to go in this constellation. That is what I'm hoping it is. I don't think, if I have counted it right, I didn't make one too many, because the extruded disc that I've got does them in sets of 4, and I needed 12, so I put it through 3 times. Was it 12? I can't remember what I wrote down now. I wrote it down how many I needed, but I knew that I had to put it through a certain number of times to get the correct amount of stars. So I am hoping I have just miscounted the number of stars that I was needing in this one, and hopefully I haven't forgotten to put one in. It was starting to get a little bit, because the stars are so close together, it was starting to get really hard to see which ones I had and hadn't done. So hopefully I have done it right. We will find out very soon when I go to cut it. Just going to sprinkle a few of these extra little stars just randomly across the top here. Not being too particular with the little ones, just letting them land wherever they go. Alright, I'm almost done. And then I can go home for the night, and then I will be back very shortly and we'll get this one cut open. Alright, we are ready to cut into Scorpio. Let's see what I did with that star. Hopefully I made one too many. We will find out very, very soon. I'm going to cut this in such a way that I do end up with a couple of good size sample pieces on either end, and I'll only end up with, I think it's 16 bars. Just because I want the constellation to show on both sides of the soap. So through we go, and thunk, and let's get a piece out the middle and see what we've done wrong. Doesn't want to come out. There it goes. Oh, that is the constellation. Just getting the piece here. Oh, that's a piece from off the top. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got that one. I'm missing one of the ones in here. That was the one I missed. But you know what? It is still pretty close to what the constellation is meant to be. So I'm still really happy. Given how complex that actual constellation is, you do still get that sort of tail and then up into the pincer shape of the scorpion. So I am going to leave this one as is. I'm really, really pleased with how the colours have come out in this one as well. Really like the mottleness of that black. I didn't want, as I said, another black soap, so really, really pleased with that sort of pattern that is in there. It is a shame I forgot to put that extra star in, so I'm sorry to all you scorpions out there, but you do still get that general sort of constellation. And you know, when you actually go looking for the constellations online, they are all slightly different depending upon who has actually depicted them. So some of them have more stars, some of them have less stars, so it's not entirely wrong. What I will do is make sure that I stamp the Scorpio symbol on these so you know which is the correct side for the constellation, and I'll show pictures of that at the end. So the fragrance is held really well throughout the saponification process. It is super strong, and as I said in the video, if you were trying to do some swirls, as long as you worked quickly, you'd be able to achieve some with this particular design. So I hope you have enjoyed watching how I made the Scorpio soap, even though it wasn't quite right. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below, and I will get back to you. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a great one, and I will see you then. Bye.